What's up, people? Nature Girl 30 here, and this is another mini Q&A. I know it seems like I don't do a lot of these, but either, well, yeah, I know that my Q&A seem pretty random, but either or, I have not forgotten y'all's questions. So let's get started with these questions. My first set of questions comes from Twitter, and it comes from Largest85. Um, be honest, girls meets world. Be honest, is Girl Meets World even good compared to Boy Meets World? And well, should have been on something other than DC or Disney Channel. Honestly, I have to say this: Girl Meets World is a great show. It is, but it does not beat Boy Meets World by far. I mean, Boy Meets World was full of drama, and it was full of real time issues that a lot of teenagers around that time was going through. And at the time, it was before Disney bought out ABC, so they really did take a lot of risks for it to be on that channel. But honestly, they did a really great job. It was a really great show. They really did take a lot of chances with it. And but around that time, ABC really had a lot of great shows that really did. I mean, that was the first of its time. Shoot, Dinosaurs by far was like one of the best series that I've ever seen in my life, and it was about a bunch of dinosaurs. People literally dressed up in dinosaur suits. Like, for those that've seen like the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, like part one, and I guess part two was okay, but either or, they wore costumes like that. They wore animatronic costumes, and that show was awesome. Then you had Boy Meets World around that time, and it was a really gritty show. It started out being funny with them being kids, and then it started to move on up to where they were teenagers in high school, and then it moved on up to where life was happening, and they were in college. It was a great show. It really, really was. And it ended with one of the best endings ever. Topanga and Corey finally gets married. We've been waiting for that for years. But by far, I would have to say Boy Meets World is one of the better shows. I mean, Girl Meets World will never touch that surface because Disney owns it, and there's only so far Disney will go. People will probably say, oh, well, what about Into the Woods? Into the Woods was a play that was already written that Disney probably bought the rights to, but it wasn't anything they created. Honestly, they're not going to really go that far with Girl Meets World. It's going to stay where it is. It's cookie cutter as it can be. But Boy Meets World actually had that range to where they were able to touch audiences worldwide for that. Well, nationwide. I don't know how far it went, but either way, it was a great show. It really was. And it's far better than Girl Meets World, even though that's a good show too. And I've talked far too much about it. So let's move on. What do you think about the Full House spinoff in 2016? Give it a shot, yes or no? No. It's 30 years too late. I'm sorry. It really is. For those that don't know anything about Full House, Full House was a show during the TGIF block that came around the late 80s, early 90s. And honestly, it was a great block. You had Full House, you had Step by Step, and of course, everybody knows Family Matters. Well, for those that actually do remember it. But either or, you had those shows, and Full House was always the one that came on first. And it was great for its time. It really was. Overly cheesy, over the top. But you had a bunch of great characters that you fell in love with and wanted to see succeed and wanted to see them grow and wanted to see them go through life and everything like that. And they did go through life and loss. But it was great for its time. It was great for its moment. It was. But from what I heard, the whole synopsis of the spinoff is that it's all about DJ being a single mom after her husband died, and she's actually going to have to go through the motions of raising her kids alone with Kimmy Gibbler by her side, and Kimley's newly divorced, and her sister is there. They're gonna make a few appearances with Uncle Jesse and Uncle Joey and Danny, but it's gonna be appearances. The only people that might not be on there are the Olsen twins, which makes no sense because they practically ran the show. But honestly, it was something that was done. I mean, if they did a spinoff, maybe, I don't know, 5 years down the line, still around that same era, that same time, that it would be relevant. But it's 30 years too late, man. 30 years too way freaking late. No, I'm not giving it a shot. I really don't think it's gonna look good. It's gonna be a very, it's not gonna last one season. But hey, I could be proven wrong. It may last multiple, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, it was great for its heyday, but I can't say it is good now. I just can't. But moving on to my YouTube questions. My first set of questions is from a fresh face. Fifi Famous. Thank you so much. Hey, honey, I just subscribed to your channel and I gotta say I'm loving it. Thank you so much. You are awesome. I just want to know, which wrestlers do you find the most attractive? Okay. There's a lot of attractive men in wrestling by far. I have to say that I love Bobby Roode, especially when Bobby Roode has a nice gruffy beard going on, like a nice well-trimmed beard. I will say that Daniel Bryan was extremely attractive when he had his hair cut short and when his beard was well-trimmed. I like a well-trimmed man. But it's something about Randy Orton. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the crazy with the hotness. It's like the crazy hotness. Randy Orton got some crazy hotness going on. I'm not gonna lie. He is a crazy, crazy hot man. But I will say by far he doesn't really have anything towards the rear end. Not to really offend him, but he don't really have much of a butt. But I will say that the one guy that surprised me the most, and I'm not a fan of this dude, but I'm not going to deny that he has a butt that you can probably eat breakfast on. And I will say it's John Cena. John Cena's got that tabletop behind. And I know it sounds like all like that, but I'm being real. But not so much looking at what their assets, but pretty much looking at them face-wise, I have to say that all of those men are attractive. They are. It's just something about like Randy Orton's craziness, and I will say John Cena, he has that whole like army type of Marine. I mean, he does look like he actually was a Marine. I don't know if he was or not, but he looks like he should be in the army. But I will say that by far, Randy Orton definitely is the most attractive. He is. I don't know why, but he is. But I think I've said far too much. But anyway, moving on from there to Final Limits. Thoughts on WWE banning the curb stomp? I didn't really know about them banning the curb stomp until I found a little while later, because they never really did announce it. They were talking about how they were going to ban the RKO, but they never really talked about the curb stomp, and I thought that was just a rumor. But it sounds to me it's actually something that they're going to do. Honestly, I don't care. It really doesn't matter. If he's going to have a whole new finisher, from what I heard, he's going to have a new finisher. So even if he has a new finisher, banning the curb stomp isn't going to matter. So it shouldn't be the one thing that he's going to have a trump card on. He should have other moves besides the curb stomp that can make him a wrestler to be reckoned with. So I really don't care if they ban a curb stomp or not. If he's the architect, like he says he is, he can find a way to win. That's pretty much how I see it. Moving on from there. Thoughts on Ariana Grande's and Big Sean's breakup? I didn't really care either, but I did expect it was going to happen. Well, Ariana Grande looks like she's 12 and Big Sean's like in his 30s. That's a weird match in itself. She may be a little bit older. She may be in her early 20s, but she looks very young. And Big Sean, it looks like he's in his 30s. So honestly, it was an odd match. I didn't really expect it to last that long, but hey, it lasted as long as it did. How would you react if Orton beats up Rollins in under 10 seconds with an RKO out of nowhere and wins the title? How would that make you feel? It's to the point where I'm like, meh, when it comes to this feud. I really don't care much about Randy Orton and Seth Rollins' feud. I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. The only thing I would say is it was great for a WrestleMania run, but it's something that should have ended at WrestleMania. It shouldn't have extended it on this far. It really should have just cut off WrestleMania and been done. Randy Orton had the win at WrestleMania. That's great. That's awesome. But honestly, I really hope that this feud ends soon, because I could care less about it, how far it goes. I really wish it would be over. But moving on to my last set of questions from Nintendo Fanboy 1988. How do you think AJ Lee will return to wrestling? Do you think AJ Lee will return to wrestling within a year or a few months? No, I think she's officially done. She has a lot of things on her mind, especially the fact that she's newly married and she probably wants to create a family. So she's really not thinking about coming back. Plus, she's probably disenchanted with the entire wrestling. I think she's kind of disenchanted with wrestling all in general. So I really am not surprised if she doesn't come back at all. And I'm not expecting her to. Did you know that hashtag thank you AJ and hashtag things AJ thought me were trending on Twitter? Not really surprised. Why do people call AJ Lee an anorexic teenager? Because honestly, you can see her ribs. If you literally go back to see how AJ Lee used to look, AJ Lee had a lot more meat on her. She had a pretty nice shape, a pretty nice build. And she was very attractive. I mean, she will always be very attractive. But I will say this, she had a lot more meat on her. When she wrestles now, you can see her rib cage, you can see her collarbones. She lost a lot of weight, too much weight in my opinion. So a lot of people say that she is anorexic. I'm not going to go there and say that, but there are some people who are skinny that way you can see their collarbones really define. You can literally see the detail of their collarbones as well as seeing their rib cage. And in that case, seeing how she used to look and seeing her now, and the fact that she has nothing up top, like it's gone, she lost a lot of weight. I'm not going to say she's anorexic, but I would say she was very, very, very skinny. Do you think that CM Punk, do you think CM Punk's influence is rubbing off on her? Good grief, I can't read tonight. Honestly, I don't think that he's a bad influence, and this is why. She had one of the most honorable send-offs for any diva that I have seen in my life. Even though that her husband, Phil Brooks, a.k.a. CM Punk, had one of the worst send-offs he could ever have. More like an F-U to the masses. But she was very classy about it. She actually did say her goodbye on Twitter. She said her goodbye to all her fans. She even had her tweet actually posted on live television on Raw that night. She did it the most honorable way possible without any hard feelings. And I think that, no, I don't think that Phil is rubbing off on her. I think that is her, and that's who she is. And I think that was a classic way of doing it. So do I think he's rubbing off on her? No. No way, no how. Very classy, and I give a thumbs up for her. But guys, those are my questions. If you have any other questions that you want to send me, by all means, send it to me via YouTube or on Twitter at RKH30, hashtag NatureGirl Q&A. It's NatureGirl30 signing off. Peace out. Later.